Okay, so if you search how to make money online, you get chucked a load of money-making coach gurus who tell you can get rich quick. And actually what they're doing is just selling you their course, and that's how they got rich. Luckily, I've managed to cut through this bullshit because I'm in need of income, having just quit my job as a strategy consultant. Sorting through a load of bullshit offers and scammy courses, I've worked out the 3 quickest ways you can actually make money pretty quickly after leaving your job. I'm gonna go through what each of those are, exactly how much you can expect to make within a month of leaving your job, and also where I would go to find them. And if you're new back to the channel, welcome, my name's Sol, and I make videos about my journey leaving strategy consulting and going into the world of entrepreneurship and online business. I'm documenting my story, both personal development wise and also career wise, so hopefully you can learn a thing or two, and if you have quit your job, then give me a message, I would love to help. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into the first income stream that you can generate fairly quickly after leaving your job. And this income stream is all related to making money for other people very quickly, and that is sales. And the reason this is number one is because I think this is the quickest way to make money straight out of a job, because what you're doing is you're tying your inputs of time to someone else making money. And if you can prove that for an hour spent, someone makes X amount of money, they're very likely to give you a cut. So while most sales jobs are commission based, you can make a pretty good amount of money straight out of leaving your job, just because of the nature of you selling a product for someone else. And looking into this world, there are 2 different types of quick money making sales roles you can get into, and that's setting and closing. And the reason they're both great is because what you're dealing with in the sales process is warm leads. And warm leads are people who have shown some sort of interest in buying the product that someone is selling. And what a setter does is a setter deals with that warm lead and gets them booked into a call. It's kind of a nurturing position. Imagine it if you go on a shop floor and you're just walking around a shop, you're looking interested, and someone comes up to you going, do you need any help looking for something? That's the kind of way that I think about a setter. They're kind of directing you in the right direction. And then what a setter does is they get you to book in a call with a closer. And that's the other type of sales role you can get into. And as the name might suggest, what a closer does is they're the person who tries to convince you to buy the product. The closer tends to be the shinier job because you're sitting on the calls, you're trying to sell people, but the setter is also commission based and you can also make a good amount of money. I've actually been offered a job as a setter for £2,500 for 20 hours work a week. And all I have to do is sit on my phone and nurture leads and get them booked in with the closer. Naturally, people are a bit more hesitant on just giving remote closing positions to people without sales experience, but really all you need to be a setter is just some sort of social skills and an awareness of what the product is to get people booked into that call. And the best way to find all these roles are A, through your network. Do you know anyone who sells anything? And ask them if you could help in their sales process. Or B, there are loads of Facebook groups that have opportunities coming up time and time again. And lastly, there are a lot of roles on LinkedIn, normally under the name SDR, Sales Development Representative, but they require very little previous experience. And you can make an annual salary of £20,000 to £30,000 without too much of a time commitment. So if you want very quick income straight after leaving your job, this is one place I'd go. Okay, so the second way you can make quick money after leaving your job is by getting a job related to the one you had previously. So my story, for example, is I came from strategy consulting, and what I can do is use my experience in that industry to get paid to do the same work. You've already got CV experience, you're relatively a low risk for companies to bring on, and it's definitely a good way to keep income rolling in while you look for something else. And while I'm applying this to consulting, you can apply this to any sort of industry that you just come in. And in order, these are the 4 places that I would look for the work. The first is ask your old company if you can do freelance work for them. I worked for a big corporate, so that was less easy. But if you work for a small company, then this is really possible. It depends how you left the company, but often a lot of companies are willing to hire old employees because it saves them so much time and effort trying to hire new people and onboard them onto systems. And the second is look for rival firms, because rival firms will respect the old job you did and know that you'll fit in very quickly into their company. Again, for example, this didn't work so easily for me because I work for a big strategy consulting company. But if you work for a smaller company, then they're going to easily recognize your name, and that gets your foot in the door pretty quickly. And the third place that I'd look is small boutique companies, because a lot of them have capacity issues where they have massively varying levels of work and where it doesn't make sense to bring on full-time employees, but you might be able to fill a capacity gap for them for a few months. I've been talking to a few consulting boutiques who say that they've got a project that they didn't expect to have, but they don't have time to hire someone, and actually they'll bring me on pretty quickly. And the last places you can look are freelance websites like Fiverr and Upwork. Both are really good places to pick up short-term work, and if you've already got experience in that industry, you can have a fairly convincing argument that you're going to do good work, and it saves a lot of hassle for the companies that are looking on there. For example, I know someone who quit consulting who has now completely replaced their salary by going on Upwork and picking up projects. I think not knowing where your next bit of work comes from could be quite stressful, but in the short term, this is a great way to just pick up work. And if you just put those profiles on those sites, you've actually just got nothing to lose. In terms of how much money you can actually make from these, it massively depends on which one of those tactics you pick. For example, when I was doing freelance consulting, I was charging £2,000 for 3 days a week work. And this gave me 2 days a week to really work on my side hustles that I wanted to turn into a full-time business, but also earn enough money to keep the bills ticking along. A good place to start is working out what your annual salary at your old company was, and then working out how much they were paying you a day. I'd argue this is the minimum amount you should expect to be getting paid by someone else, because that is your market going rate at that current skill. So yes, using your existing skill set and your existing experience to freelance, work for a boutique company, or work for your old company is a great way to quickly replace your old income. Okay, so the third and final quick way to make income after leaving your job is using existing skills that you already have that are not related to professional work. And this is a bit of a rogue category, but having looked into this, you can actually make some fairly good money if you just work out what skills you have in other areas of your life. And this is going to be a different collection of jobs for everyone. But let me explain exactly how I looked at it, and then you can work out exactly what skills you have that you can then turn into paying jobs. So I looked at my life and thought, what skills do I have that people might want? And it goes as basic as thinking, okay, so I have a driving license, I've done a decent degree from a decent university, and I play sport to a fairly high level. And there are 3 things that I've got that some people don't have. And the thing about working that out is then once you've got those skills, you are in some way valuable in the market of jobs. So I thought, okay, so I have a driving license. What jobs involve paying me for that driving license? And I looked into delivery driving, and you can actually earn fairly good money for not too much hard work. I actually saw a guy on TikTok who was an Ocado food delivery man, and he said it was the greatest job. He had massively long breaks. He was getting paid really well, and all you have to do is just drive a delivery van around. It might not pay as well as your old job, but if you're looking for quick money, then using that is a great way. Okay, and then let's use the example of the fact that I have education from a university. That gives me authority to tutor people in that subject, or maybe a few subjects below me. If you're watching this, there's a very high likelihood that you've done maths or English to the level of GCSE. This means you're probably at the level where you could teach kids how to do maths. I started picking up jobs doing tutoring for 5 and 6 year olds at maths, which was definitely different to my strategy consulting job, but I worked out that there are rich parents who are willing to pay people money to tutor their kids. I was earning £50 an hour by tutoring these young kids, and you'll definitely have parts of your education that will allow you to teach people at earlier stages of their education. There's loads of tutoring websites, but I use My Tutor and Tutor for You to get good paying jobs that actually involve very little time and mental commitment to getting paid good amounts of money for. At one point, I was doing 5 hours a week of tutoring, which is £250 of tutoring, which over a month can help you really make a dent in making your bills and your food payments back. And that is only for about 5 hours work a week. And then similarly with my sport ability, I realized I knew quite a lot about rugby. And I was like, well, I could just go and either play rugby where I get paid or teach people how to do rugby in schools. People are always looking for people's skills, and having some sort of knowledge in an area means that some people might pay you. For example, in sport, there's loads of kids camps, there's loads of schools that are looking for freelance teachers, and you can just go on LinkedIn and search for these, or just cold message people who run camps or certain sports activities in your area to get paid to do it. What I'm trying to say in this whole section is there may be skills that you have that you don't quite realize that give you an opportunity to get paid a decent amount of money to do them. And they may not be your future career aspirations, but they can keep you going month to month so that you can build that side business without worrying that you have to go back into full-time employment. And the greatest thing about all these 3 is you don't have to just do one of them. You can use a mixture of maybe doing a bit of sales and also freelancing your old job, and also maybe working in a cafe every now and then. But they're exactly how I am thinking about how I can make money in the short term to keep money coming in and to make me feel some sort of sense of stability. So let me know in the comments which one you're going to choose. And I think it's probably likely that I'll go in depth on a few of these topics further down the line when I explore and find out more about how to make a decent amount of money in them. So subscribe to catch that, and I'll catch you in the next video.